everybody. I'm Chris.
I'm Adrian.
And I'm Jimmy.
Welcome back to Worldview Finder, episode 33.
33.
Palindrome episode.
Cool.
I don't know what that means.
Backwards. Same forward and backward. 33.
Nice.
Forward and backwards. It's the same number.
Glad we cleared that up.
Today, we'll be talking about One Piece.
One Piece.
Dawn of the Nugget.
Okay.
Maybe.
Where this is all the new stuff on Netflix.
All the Netflix.
Episode.
And then,
So, if you don't have Netflix, get it. Watch a few episodes.
Then this week, we will talk about that weird guy on an airplane. We'll see.
The weird guy on an airplane.
Our
I'm looking forward to it.
Fleetwood.
Yeah. So,
Let's just jump in.
yeah.
Let's do it. Yo.
Before I want to plug something. Can I plug something?
Sure.
My
Are
friend,
they giving us money?
No, but my friend John started a board game channel that I'm a part of.
If you like board games or
So-
Chris.
Yeah, so check out Board Game Fellowship. The Fellowship.
BGF
Yeah, Board Game Fellowship. So,
on the YouTube.
yeah, we do some reviews of games.
I watched some videos. They're interesting.
They're interesting. Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah. So, all right, One Piece.
Tell us about it, Adrian. What is One
Okay,
Piece?
One
For all you
Piece.
non-One Piecers.
No. Okay. Listen. This One Piece universe is huge, and so I will
Almost as
not.
big as the Muppet verse.
It's
Watch the last
bigger and longer. My introduction to One Piece was the live-action new Netflix.
Yes.
And I had no idea what it was about, so I am in no way
I
an
didn't tell you to
expert.
watch it. You watched it after us. I didn't tell you to watch it.
No, I texted you and was like, "You need to watch this."
Yeah, I was like,
And you were
"Already did."
Already did.
It's great.
Um,
I loved it.
found out. So my brother-in-law, he has his own like Instagram workout channel, and he works out.
Shout it out.
Yeah. And, he works out in his garage, and behind him has always been this huge pirate flag. And I never knew
One Piece.
until it is a One Piece pirate flag.
One Piece.
So then I texted him and was like, "Tell me about this." So he kind of filled me in that it's this super long like manga. It started out as comic books.
So manga is a comic book, Japanese comic book.
Yep.
Yeah. Then it got turned into anime.
It's over 1,000 episodes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. And movies, like, just the universe is huge.
But that's all animated.
Yeah. And they're actually, so when I asked him, should I dive into this universe? He was like, you should definitely read it, like read the manga.
Oh.
But wait, because they're going to start over on the
You start over.
animation.
Oh,
And
man.
then you're going to start reading left to right instead of right to
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. So he said, wait for those newer episodes to start coming out because they're gonna
Reboot.
they're gonna make it better. Like there's a lot of things that people don't like about the adaptation, so they're starting over.
Apparently, is it 8 episodes, the live action?
Yeah.
And it covers the first 45 episodes.
Oh, okay. So they've condensed it.
The manga or the
Yeah.
cartoon. So
Yeah.
the anime. Sorry, I said all the wrong things.
Jeez.
All the wrong things.
I know it's complicated, but so anyway, that's all I'll say is we're not experts
So-
on One Piece at all. But
Yeah,
we've-
I've just
we've
watched the live
seen
action.
The live action.
I started watching the cartoon because it's on Netflix, the anime,
Gee, cartoon.
but I fell asleep. Not because it was
Wow.
boring. It was just I was tired, and I didn't jump back into it. But
So what exactly, can you give us a brief overview of what?
It's definitely pirates versus Marines kind of thing.
okay.
So
So it starts off. This guy talks about this pirate, this infamous pirate says, "I have this treasure called the One Piece,"
Oh, okay.
He's
So
a-
it's not him.
he's the king of the pirates.
and he says it's real.
One Piece.
Yeah, and so that's like this treasure that's infamous, I guess. So he says it's real, and it's somewhere. Go and find it.
Go and find my
And it
treasure.
starts a pirate era.
The age of the pirates.
Ah,
He
trying to
just-
find the old One
So
Piece.
everybody becomes a
Basically,
pirate.
everyone becomes a pirate to try to find it. So it's just super fun, like to see all of the different pirates. They have themes, I guess. So like
Each pirate's almost like an in boss of a video
Oh, okay.
game. Like it's so they're
there's
they're
like
over
a
the
circus
top.
pirate ship, and so everybody is like circus performers, and then the captain is a clown. Then there's like a woman pirate ship, and everyone has to like wear pink, and the pirate ship is pink, and all this. It's just like there's a cat. There's like a cat crew, so everyone
So many
like
different kinds of pirates.
yeah, like everyone kind of resembles cats or like moves like cats. It's just so ridiculous.
It's weird, yeah. Because at
but
first
so fun.
you don't realize like, oh, this is like almost like superhero type people.
Yeah.
So the main character is Monkey D. Luffy. And
It's Mr. Monkey Do Luffy, do you?
and his character is fantastic. The guy that plays him is so
Well,
good.
yeah, I would say Luffy is like one of the greatest protagonists I feel like we've run into in a really long time.
Yeah, and the way he plays that character is so good because he's just smiling all the time, and
he's like the happiest, nicest person in the world.
he's like, I'm going to be the king of the pirates. Like he tells everybody that, and they laugh at him, and then he beats them up.
No, but he's not mean though. Like he
No.
doesn't beat them up.
In a nice way.
No, he's not like vindictive at all. It's just like they're attacking him, so he's defending himself basically. And so, man, it's so good.
Oh, we will spoil because just a little bit, tiny bit. He has stretchy powers, so he
Like-
can stretch, like stretch Armstrong.
You find that out in like the
Is it
first episode.
yeah. So he can. He like.
But I will
does-
say that was such a shock to me watch it because I didn't know any. I knew nothing. I just saw the preview as I'm like scrolling, and I was like, I liked Luffy so much in that little preview. I was like, I'm gonna just watch the first episode of this because this guy seems really great. And then he had the stretchy arms reveal, and I was like, what is this show? And then I loved it from then.
So in the live action as well, he's got these stretchy arms.
Yeah,
That's like the point.
that's what
I mean, that's his character.
Because I knew going in that it was anime. Like I knew
Cartoon,
a
I
little bit
think
of the
it
story,
was.
but I didn't know he had stretchy power. I didn't know any of that stuff. So sorry.
He's like a Stretch Armstrong.
That reveal is fun. But yeah, so basically he doesn't know his parents. This pirate guy kind of raised him, and then but he like has this hat the guy gave him that he's very important.
Straw
to him.
hat.
Straw hat.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
So he becomes the straw hats is the name of his crew.
Yeah. So, but he'll just like be like, "Hey, you want to be part of my crew?" And they're like, I'm not a part of any crew." And he's like, "Yeah, you are. You're
He
part of
places a hat on their head and he's like, all
So
right.
I would say it's very the main trope of it is found family.
Oh, okay.
So that he just finds people and they become like family. But,
Yeah. Some of the worldview stuff, I mean, it is very like, you can almost like think positively and those things will happen. Almost like prosperity gospel a little bit. Like you spoke it into existence.
A little manifesting
Yeah.
for all you Gen Z out there.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's more like he gets loyalty based on he sees them like for who they are. So he immediately finds out like, what do you want?
Well, yeah, following your dreams is a big part of it.
Yeah, following your dreams, but he helps people realize those dreams and he doesn't hold them to him. Like pirates are all about claiming things.
Yeah.
And he is more about like, I'm going to follow my dream, which is to be a pirate. But if you don't want to be a pirate, you don't have to be. Like, you go follow your dream. I mean, his friend that he meets in the first episode, Kobe, wants to be a Marine. And that's like, would be his sworn enemy. But he's like, you go follow your dream. I'll take you to the Marines. And he takes him there.
So
And he says, but I think the exchange when they leave each other is really important because then they say it again at the end when he says, you go be like a good Marine. And he says, and you be a good pirate. And so I think the show really explores there's like what the world says is good and evil. So it's like pirates are bad, the Marines are the good guys, like cops and robbers type of thing. But you see bad Marines doing really bad things, and Kobe goes on that journey to realize like there's lots of corruption and all that underneath the Marines. And then you see the pirates, and there's a lot of good pirates out there too.
yeah.
So it's like each side is living in this morally gray area.
And yeah, and so each episode's almost like follows one story of either one of the characters on the boat, and you kind of find their backstory, or
Yeah.
like one of the new crew members. Like you learn what motivates them and their dream and stuff. It's so good.
That's so good.
It's a lot of fun. Like every episode, you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Because my friend was like, hey, you need to. He's like, I watched the first. He's like, the first 15 minutes is like, I don't know about this. And he's like, but then after that, it's like, I was in. And so,
I think it's when you find out he has stretchy arms. Because it's like the first 15
Minute
minutes.
16.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like,
really kicks in.
wait a minute. What is this show?
what I get into? But yeah, so following your dreams, like that kind of stuff. But I think, yeah, you see a lot of self-sacrifice in it too. Like a lot of people have done things to help benefit other people that isn't necessarily going to benefit them. And you see like these people that seem mean or seem bad. Then you learn like, oh no, he did all this stuff to help this other person or do all these things. And so, yeah, like the chef pirates, that whole thing, that story was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there is language in it. There is a but.
Oh, again.
I was gonna say there's a but.
First
It's so funny
episode.
because it's like on the the warning or whatever, it says nudity, and I was like, oh gosh, I didn't. And then it shows a butt for like 1 second, and then that's the only nudity for the whole show. But yet it says at the top nudity, like for the whole. So you think that there's gonna be something, but there's not.
Yeah, it's
So
just
it's safe.
well.
If you don't,
Not
if
safe
you don't want
if
to
you
see
don't
a
wanna see a
weird,
butt.
a weird butt.
A weird but yeah, so it's a very good show. I enjoy it very much. The positivity behind it of just like
Yeah,
'Cause
lots of good conversations to have.
I don't know if I wrote anything down from that. I feel like there were some things that I maybe did, but it's good. This is one that parents you need to check out beforehand on like probably plugged in or whatever to. I don't know if it's unplugged in, but yeah, it is. I think it is. So, but just check it out because it's good. So
Yeah, I'm at nighttime. I tell Amos a bedtime story, and I always use things that I've seen as reference. So I'm telling him One Piece.
Let me tell you about these cat pirates.
So the other day he had 2 slinkies on his arms, and he's like, "Mom, who am I?" And he like jutted them out.
Oh, goodness.
And those slinkies like went really far, and he's like, "I'm Monkey D. Luffy," and I was like, oh, "Genius!" It was so cool because it's like got the stretchy arms. It's like yes,
monkey the loop.
so cool. Okay, other Netflix. Okay, I just want to plug Leo really quick.
Oh,
The
is that the one with the lizard?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. No,
Okay.
The old lizard.
You know what? I don't really think.
Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah, it's Adam Sandler's movie, and it's a cartoon.
An anime.
Yeah, not anime.
It's a full-length animated feature. It's not a cartoon.
But it's about an old turtle and an old iguana that are classroom pets, and they've seen they've
seen
lived
things.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like 50 years old, and so
Dang.
they've seen like all these different classrooms and stuff. So it's okay. Like I would say, I don't know. I was kind of mad at myself for letting my kids watch it before
Really?
I vetted it. Just because there's some questionable storylines or whatever, but
Worldview.
yeah, worldview stuff. But it kind of goes over their head, and it seems almost more for adults anyway. It's one of those movies where it's like
Like Strays.
kids will like what?
Strays. That movie about the talking dogs. It's just
Oh.
filthy.
Yeah. Oh, not that bad. And so my son liked it, but I was mad because at the end, the Leo, the lizard, or iguana, he gives the classroom advice, and it's like the best advice in like worldview. I meant to bring like the paragraph of what he says. But he basically says like, because they're gonna miss him, and because he gives them all advice and things like that, and he says, you all need to find and be that person to somebody else. Like you need to be a good listener, and you also need to find someone in your life that will listen to you. And like I thought that worldview was really good. So anyway.
Just listeners, or did he like say was there like a list of things that he said, like find these type of people? And
Well,
be
like he became almost like a counselor for each kid in the class, and so he would like listen to what was wrong with them and give them advice and like help them become who they wanted to be. And like even the teacher, he did that too. And so they were saying like, we'll miss you, we want you to come to our next class. But he had to stay in that classroom, and he was like, no, you guys need to do this for other people, but also like find the people in the world that will listen to you and listen to your story and help you succeed.
So like in my mind, I'm imagining him like giving this great speech, and like then it kind of pans out, and you like hear what the class is hearing, and it's just like because they can't understand an iguana.
Talking to the iguana.
Like,
That's
yeah,
great.
it's like this touching speech. It's just like
I don't think that's the noise they make.
I don't know what's noises.
Good advice,
No,
though.
I mean there's funny moments for sure. But and then they get put in the kindergarten class at the end, and they're like, "We'll finally learn the alphabet."
All right, Jimmy, did you watch Dawn of the Nugget? Yeah, you did.
Dawn of the Nugget.
I've not even heard that.
Claymation, man. It's
Claymation. I actively stay away from claymation.
Chicken
So
Run.
do I usually.
Chicken Run 2. What? Man, some of the best shows out there, Claymation. Shaun of the Sheep, fantastic.
That always came on at like 3 a.m.
Wallace and Gromit. So yeah, so the same people made Shaun of the Dead, not Shaun of the Dead,
Shaun of the
Shaun- Wow. Okay.
Shaun the Sheep,
Of the Dead.
and
Dawn of the Nugget.
Dawn of the Nugget.
Chicken Run.
Chicken Run.
Wallace and Gromit. We got all those. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have made the second Chicken Run Part 2,
Oh.
Dawn of the Nugget, and it's really good.
It's fun. Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about trying to protect your children, shield your children from the world around them, but then how children rebel and are terrible people.
Sorry to all you
Well,
children out
it's
there.
like learning a balance of explaining. I think that was like, as a
Yeah.
parent, that's what I came away with, was like, they just needed to talk to her, like tell her about, they can't shield her from the world. So they need to tell her, because she wouldn't have made the choices she did had she have known
Right.
what was out there. So
But
that's,
would she have? I don't know, because it's one of those things. Like even when you hear advice, sometimes you're like, "Yeah, but I'm gonna figure this out for my own. It's not gonna happen to me this way." We talked about
Yeah.
that
yeah.
earlier episode, but yeah, but it's like, even though you hear the advice, you sometimes don't take it because you're like, "Well, I need to figure this out for myself."
Well, I didn't watch the Shaun of the Dead or whatever.
Dawn of the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Nugget.
But it sounds like with that specifically, I think when you have multiple kids, like the same advice will apply completely different to each one of them. So that's the other, I hear the other hard part about parenting is if you do one thing for one kid, then it works, then it might not work for the other kids
Oof. Yeah.
At all.
at all.
Completely different. That's why like a parenting advice book's like, this doesn't work for my kid at all.
Right.
So it's just the worst. So what do you do? How do you find that balance?
Well, I think the other part of that movie though was about the parents. They in sheltering their kids, they had kind of sheltered themselves from their full potential too. And they were hiding who they used to be because they didn't want her exposed to that. And so it was really about finding a balance for all of them to be like, okay, I've been squelching my own who I am.
So how do you find that parent? How do you find that balance for all the parents out there where, because I have met some people where their parents are like super overprotective, shield them from everything, and it does make them, and then they go and find out stuff for themselves, and then sometimes that can go bad.
But then they also find out like, oh, their parents did some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, why didn't, and the parents don't,
Yeah, like, why didn't you let me do that crazy stuff?
or not do the crazy stuff, but even talk to me about it, like from your perspective, because you've been through that stuff or whatever. And like, and you had like, I don't know, parents that were alcoholics or drug addicts or, and not that extreme, but just even made some bad choices.
Yeah.
And they don't want to tell their kids that because like you almost like want your kids to view you as this special person.
Well, because I think people in life, you go through things and you learn those lessons through those mistakes, but sometimes it makes you vulnerable if you're sharing the backstory of it and the actual story of it, instead of just saying, well, here's this lesson that I know now, and you need to know it. Don't worry about where it came from and how I know it.
Don't worry.
But
I just
see,
know it's
I
true.
don't think that doesn't work anymore. I feel like, and I think we've seen that a lot that come out in movies, and this one is another case in point. Like, I see things be a lot more effective when, like, okay, so my kid is having trouble talking in school, or more like fidgeting, and he like sits on his knees and leans across the table and all this kind of stuff, and so he's been getting in trouble. Well, my husband has like ADD, so he also got in trouble for a lot of that when he was a kid. So instead of just talking through like, hey, this is wrong. You need to learn to sit still, all this stuff. My husband sat down with him and said, like, here's all the times I got in trouble when I was a kid. Here's what I was feeling and all that. And you could see my son just like open up because he was like, oh, my dad understands me. He's not just telling me what to do. Yeah. And so it's opened up room for conversation and stuff. And so I don't know. I feel like that's like a better way.
Well, and this is like, I think as followers of Jesus, this is where like it becomes difficult because it's like, as a follower of Jesus, I'm supposed to live to a certain standard, and I think I can't be vulnerable sometimes because people are like, well, he's a Christian and he watched that show,
One Piece,
so there's even like what we talked about last episode with that Alan Ritchson guy that plays Reacher. He's like, people say, well, how can you be a Christian and play this character? And so it's almost like, well, how can you be a Christian and do that or that kind of thing? And so there's almost this fear of being judged, and that's why I think a lot of pastors have moral failings is because they don't feel like they can be real. Yeah, and you have to be this character that people think that you're going to be. And I think with the Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, it's like the parents think, oh, we have to present this perfect paradise for our kid and act like everything's great, but not really let her know.
Yeah, and we're sheltering. I think that was a big thing is they were sheltering themselves from the world.
Yeah,
like. If you really, you could really put like Christians in that spot. Yeah. Because like you said, they've created themselves like a little paradise, like a little shelter.
Christian music and Christian movies and
and then
Christian T-shirts.
Yeah, and then their daughter's the one that goes out, and it's almost like if you would have really over spiritualize it, it's like she goes out, realizes there's someone out there in need. There's a whole bunch of chickens that are getting killed and turned into nuggets, and so she goes after them. And she's like, we've got to save them. We can't just save ourselves.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a huge Christian theme.
I didn't even think of it.
And so then she turns her whole community paradise into like, okay, where is this happening in other places?
How
can we rescue others?
Well, and it's slightly different at that point. But going back to the previous point, I think one of the problems a lot of non-Christians have with Christians is they put on this face of, I have all the answers. I don't do anything bad. You do the bad stuff. Yeah. You're the sinner. But the actual story of the Bible is that we are all sinners and we still have this sin nature and we're constantly battling it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think if we try to hold this picture of, I have it all figured out, and from the outside, a lot of people, that turns a lot of people off to Christians. And then again, like you were saying with pastors or just Christians overall, then they feel like they have to hide it from everyone, which then it becomes bottled up. And then you do have those moral failings because you're trying to put on the face of having it all figured out.
Yeah.
Man. You know who?
All this from the Dawn of the Nugget.
I know. Who would have thought the Dawn of the Nugget?
I'd recommend it. It's good.
Yeah.
But speaking of people that are just letting it all out and being who they really are, Orlando
Bloom,
JetBlue flight, of course it's on JetBlue, takes off. This guy is with this lady. He claims to be the devil and like punches her. And then they're like, what? And so the flight attendants get her in the bathroom and he's like punching the door, trying to break into the door. They have to avert the flight and land it.
Did she know him ahead of time?
Yeah, they And she's like, he is the devil.
That's my ex-husband.
Yeah, no, I don't know. So, passenger sitting close to the man, put the woman who was attacked. Yeah, so I think they got on together. But he claimed to be the devil. And so.
He's like, I'm the devil and I'm going to punch you now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he just became the devil. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Why in that moment, right?
So what happened?
So
baby had been crying for 6 hours.
Land it, deplane everybody, get everybody, and then get them back on. And then people are like, we want to be compensated. And JetBlue's like, we can't compensate you because the delay was a disruption outside of JetBlue's control. So
that makes sense.
It's true.
But I think they're going to start doing this though. It's like they're like, oh man, this flight's not going to
if you're a devil,
be delayed. They're going to just have people do that. Have plants on there, so they're like
somebody gets punched. So
he's really just a plant.
So they can delay the flight.
He's just a plant.
They can delay the flight and then not worry about it. It's out of our control. The devil, he showed up
punching on planes.
So if the devil,
why does this happen on planes? Do you think it's just like the pressure of flying and people are scared.
People
or,
are very
like,
tense up there.
I don't know of any cases where people claim to be the devil on a
Not be a
flight.
devil, but that one viral video of the lady saying that something was on her flight. She's like, that man isn't real. Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
I have not seen that.
Oh yeah, that was a big
What?
thing.
Yeah,
No.
she's like screaming that she wants off the flight, and she looks very normal and put together. Like, and she just is like, yeah, she's like, I'm getting off this flight because that man is not a man or something. Like
He said he's not real.
he's not real, and
I think it was the devil.
to get off the flight.
And then he punched her.
The
Well, yeah,
devil's just flying in the airplane.
So what'd the man do?
You only see her perspective.
Yeah, you only see her
He goes,
perspective.
I'm a real boy.
He's like,
It was
what are you talking
Pinocchio.
about? And then his eyes like
Yeah.
close the other way.
It's a Toyota commercial.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Yeah, there. Oh, I
That
don't even know if
case
I
is
want to get
weird.
into it. Did anybody like talk? Like, did you see that stuff at the Florida Mall?
Oh,
tell us.
there
It's
was
Florida.
controversy that there was 9-foot tall aliens and
What?
There, so
aliens.
When you get those eyes, Chris, that means you believe something insane.
okay, it's true. All right, so
Your eyes there over your
no,
eyebrows go up.
this guy was like, okay, what is going on at this Florida Mall? I haven't looked into that much, so I can't give too much of a
It's fake news.
yeah. But so basically, there was like 400 cop cars that were deployed to this mall, and the reports of people coming out of it were like there were these 7 to 9 foot tall things running around through the mall, and then like all this stuff. Then the guy's like, but now he's like, there was an Apache helicopter deployed over there. He's like, all the like electronic stuff stopped working around there. He's like, all the video footage from what happened is gone. Like it's been confiscated or erased or whatever. And he's like, and now they're saying, oh, it was a couple kids messing around shooting some fireworks. He's like, you don't send 400 cop cars to that and like close down 5 city blocks and all this stuff. And then like there's like a video footage of like you can kind of see this thing like running by outside. You're like, what is that? I mean, it's crazy.
That sounds like Cloverfield type of stuff.
So then this guy calls his dad. He's like, okay. He's like, how have I not heard about this? He's like, my dad is running for sheriff or whatever. So he calls his dad and he's like, hey, why were all those cop cars deployed or whatever? And he's like, I can't get into it.
The aliens.
And he's like, wait, what do you mean? And he's like, here's what I've heard. What can you? He's like, I can't say anything. And he's like, okay, let me ask you this, and you can nod or whatever. And he like asked him some, like he's like, were there these 7 foot tall creatures or 9 foot tall creatures running around? And he's like, he just sat there, and he's like, come on, you gotta give me something. It's like, I can't say anything. And you're like, what? And again, I don't know what, like with the age of the internet, I don't know what's real and what's not.
I've heard that it's been debunked, unfortunately.
Have you?
Yes.
That all that stuff.
Yeah. So I think all the electronics and stuff, I think that was added to the story after the fact.
Okay.
But the story that I heard was all the cops were there because they thought it was a mass shooter in the place. So that's why they sent all the cop cars.
So it was probably kids shooting fireworks and they thought it was a mass shooter. Chris's life is ruined.
He's like, I thought it was the aliens.
I wish it was aliens.
Of course they're gonna say that.
Of course, the aliens run the media.
They're going to Antarctica.
I
They
mean,
took on a boat to Antarctica. That's what ended up happening to those aliens. But
I love watching those videos where they're like, this senator's really a, like a lizard person or whatever.
All the deep
never
conspiracy TikToks.
Yes, I love those because they're like, there's like a clip of them and they're like, their head goes weird and their eyes like blink the other way.
Adrian's on conspiracy talk.
wait, their eyes blink the other way. They actually have.
Like lizard eyes blinking.
Listen, video editing is very advanced right
Yeah.
now. Deep fakes look very real.
I don't believe them. I just think
Oh,
that they're
okay.
fun.
I thought,
I'm like, oh yes, Hillary Clinton for sure is a lizard.
Let us know in the comments.
so, all right, I gotta get to a meeting. But no, it's been good.
That was
It's been good coming back.
Watch One Piece and Dawn of the Nugget.
Dawn of the Nuggets.
Check out that aliens.
I did hear there was a clay sorters, so they might not make as many Shaun of the Sheep stuff.
Finally.
The people that
A clay shortage.
yeah, because the people that like supplied their
That's a controversy.
2020 just killed the world.
and everything. Jimmy, you should. It's good. It's good stuff. Shaun of the Sheep. Check it out. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Chris.
I'm Adrian.
And I'm Jimmy.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.